I expect a certain level of quality, a certain level of intensity, a certain level of effort from a playoff game in any league. And frankly, the Eagles just failed to live up to that entirely in this game. Eagles lose to the Bakersfield Condors 5-2 in Game 3. I can understand that the Eagles are the underdog and aren't supposed to beat this team. I can even understand and accept that this team may beat the Eagles handily. That's fine. What I can't accept is the absolutely pitiful effort from the Eagles on their side of things. The first period in this game might be the worst period the Eagles have played all season long, and they've had some rough ones. The Eagles registered just one shot on goal in the first period of this game. Just a single one, and they gave up 17. That's not getting beat by a better team. That's failing to show up. The only player that did show up was Pavel Francouz, and he had just enough magic in the tank to keep it close through the first period, which honestly alone is incredible. But when the Eagles in front of him are playing this poorly, and then they take a penalty halfway through the period on top of it, well, even an Archmage doesn't have enough magic to stop that goal from going in. This play kind of sums up the game nicely. The Eagles win a face-off clean. It comes to Mark Alt, who proceeds to step on the puck, trip on it, and turn it over. From there, the Eagles PK plays some of the most passive defense I've ever seen. It honestly looks like the Condors have force fields around all of their players that the Eagles cannot penetrate. They work it around up high to Stanton, who fires a one-timer that gets through post and in. And that wasn't even the worst defensive play of the night. Honestly, the Eagles probably spent less than 2 minutes of time possessing the puck in the offensive zone. They basically couldn't even get it out of their own zone for most of the period. Honestly, this probably has to be one of the worst periods in AHL playoff history. And yet, somehow, mostly Francouz, the Eagles are only down 1 despite getting outshot by 16 shots in the period. On the ice, things couldn't possibly get worse as this game progressed, so the Eagles had that going for them, and they did at least exist on the ice in the second period. It even started out decently. The Eagles got a couple of opportunities and drew a power play for themselves. And just when it seemed like the Eagles were getting the wheels back on the bus, they completely fell off. The Eagles are on their own power play here and have already spent a lot of it in their own zone. As they finally sloppily break it out, Kosmachuk collects it in the neutral zone and just decides to stop handling this puck. So it floats back into the Eagles zone where it's collected by the Condors. From there, it gets chipped in deep and Bowers gets tangled up with this stick a bit, which is a semi-valid excuse, but he also completely forgets how to handle a puck here. You also have Kosmachuk existing over here on the half wall, I guess. I really don't know. He's not adding anything at all to this play. And you can see the Condors flying in here. And you can also see AJ Greer late on the back check. So, yeah. When that pass comes across to Gambardella, he just fires it in from the slot, and Francouz has no chance. That's just Bush League stuff. Eagles didn't even make mistakes like that when they were in the ECHL. You just can't have it. And things would go from bad to worse pretty quickly. The Eagles would get 9 shots on goal in the period, which isn't good, but it's a whole lot better than 1. Problem is they would give up even more shots than they did in the first. This time the Condors would get 18 shots on Francouz, and far too many of them would go in the net. From here on out, you're going to notice a theme that the Eagles are just terrible in front of their own net. A shot is going to come in from the point here, and the Eagles are going to fail to collect the rebound, getting beat clean as Geertsen in deep. That allows the Condors to remain set up in the zone, and they can basically do whatever they want out around the blue line here. As you can see, they have 3 players in the slot area, and the Eagles are scrambling horribly to keep up with them. None of the Eagles have quality position here. You can see they're all beaten by their man facing the puck. So Eagles are basically hoping to maybe collect a rebound here, but with that many bodies in front, Francouz is never going to see this puck, and Poli is able to get a stick on it about 2 feet in front of him, so into the net it goes. The real problem that all of this boils down to is puck possession. The Eagles just were unable to hold on to the puck when they had it, and when they didn't have it, they basically couldn't get it. Their skill wasn't getting it done, and when it came to fall back on the structure, it was a team that looked completely lost. There was one moment of hope, though. Shortly after the third goal for the Condors, the Eagles would get a lucky one. Lindholm finds Greer here on the breakout, and Greer does a nice job to cut to the middle of the ice and force the Condors defenders back as he's gaining the zone and sending this pass over to Toninato. Toninato simply just drops his puck back to Mark Alt, who's waiting for a one-timer. Alt does fire the shot off, and it deflects off of the stick here and just redirects right to Anton Lindholm, who is driving to the back post. Lindholm just has a tap in from there. Lindholm's first goal of the playoffs, equaling his total from the regular season. So you were hoping that maybe the Eagles would kind of shake off whatever funk they were in and remember that they can play offense. In hindsight, that was a very silly hope. A fluke goal turned out to be a fluke goal, and the Eagles continued to crater through the rest of the period. 3 minutes later, the Condors put the lead back to 3. Exact same story as the last goal for the Condors. A wide shot here cannot be collected by the Eagles, allowing the Condors to keep control and get it back up to the point where it's going to come to Evan Bouchard. Bouchard actually doesn't get very much on this shot at all. It's kind of a floater. There's a little bit of traffic in front, and Francouz just can't seem to find this one as it gets by him. Perfect world, you'd probably like Francouz to stop that one, but we're halfway through the second period and he's already faced over 30 shots, so you can't really blame him. Eagles would whiff on another power play opportunity after that. They'd go 0 for 4 on the night on the power play, which isn't good, but honestly it doesn't really matter if you get this dominated at 5-on-5. And with less than 3 minutes to go in the second, the Condors would all but finish off this game. Eagles get possession of puck. Eagles forget how to hold on to puck. Eagles end up losing puck battle in corner. Puck gets worked back to point. Once at the point, shot goes towards the net. Bodies in front. Eagles can't find puck. Rebound. Puck in net. Get it? Got it? Good. This is just terrible. The Eagles' defense, when they don't have the puck, just isn't good enough to survive when they're giving gifts to the Condors all game. It's that simple. That made it 5-1, and another total fluke goal would at least get the Eagles up to 2. Milosh collects a puck in the neutral zone. As he tries to break it into the offensive zone, he's going to get forced wide and dumps the puck in around the boards. You're going to see Starrett come out of his net to play this puck, and the puck just takes a funny bounce off the boards, is coming right out in front of the net, where Sheldon Dries just has to slap it home into that empty net. I guess even the hockey gods were feeling pitiful for how bad the Eagles looked in this game. That would be your final score. The third period was purely academic. The Condors completely left their foot off the gas, and the Eagles were playing it like it was a random Tuesday game in the middle of the season that didn't matter. This was just absolutely a horrendous game for the Eagles from top to bottom. Their backs are now up against the wall. To take the series, they have to win back-to-back games in Bakersfield. I don't know if they'll be able to do that. All I can ask from them is to be better and at least go out of this series fighting. Don't repeat whatever this was. That is the end of this AHL playoff game video review. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to all of my contributors on both PayPal and Patreon. I appreciate all of you guys so much. I know not all of you guys care about the AHL content, but for those of you that do, it's your contributions that make this content possible. I'm Rudo3, and now it's time to try and scrub this game from my memory.